Hello and welcome to World Concerns. We hope this podcast finds you well.
I'm Sunil.
I'm Chris.
I'm producer James.
And we're about to blow your fucking mind apart.
Hit it.
It doesn't really say what it's about though, does it, that?
Not at all. Not at all. Sounds fun though, doesn't it? Welcome aboard.
Let's go. It's go time. The boys are back. International Men's Day.
Are we recording now?
Yeah.
Yes, we're recording. What?
We're back.
I already did that.
We're also back.
Jason, we're back. The boys are back.
Say International Men's Day.
It's International Men's Day special. James, who's your favourite man?
Jeremy Clarkson. That's what he wants to say.
Oh, no.
All right, James. Actually, who is your favourite man?
Jackie Robinson.
Who? Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson.
What, the baseball player?
Yes. Broke the colour barrier in baseball.
Actually, a fair play.
Who's your favourite man, Chris? Was it Dolph Lundgren?
No, I really like... Who do I like? Who do I look up to as a man? Probably my dad.
Oh, he's got you, James.
Yeah, he's got me. I know about his dad's personal life, so...
yeah. Yeah, he's... Do you know what I mean? No, he's a good lad. But who do I like from media and... media and stuff like
media.
that?
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, Shower Khan.
Shere Khan, the tiger from... He's not even a man. He's a tiger.
Yeah, but he brings that energy, doesn't he? Like,
Yeah.
I do like his vibe.
Stuff's getting done.
Who's your favourite man, Sunil?
Probably our king.
Yes, finally. James, you're the only one not stood up.
Only one not erect.
What do you think of the king?
Oh, God, Chris, fuck's sake.
I forgot he was still... I don't know. I don't hear much about him.
You know what I'm obsessed with about the king?
His fingers.
No, don't care about his fingers.
What? Have you not seen him?
He's a man of an age who just eats butter. It's going to happen.
That's me.
The king's fingers, Sunil, that's you if you have any, like, you're on a path to that with your nutty clouds. The king, basically, I think in the 80s or 90s, the king oversaw the building of a village.
Oh, yeah, Poundbury?
Poundbury or Poundbury, down south. It's one of those places, it's just so far away from where I live, but I am really interested in, I don't know how to describe it, like dystopian town planning or like utopian, like this is someone trying to build what he thinks like an idyllic English life should be like, you know? So he's like built it and it's with his ethos that runs through the town.
He loves a bit of town planning. He loves it. Architecture, town planning. It's like I do as well. There's a lot of similarities between the king and I. But I just play a lot. I just do it on SimCity or something like that. Whereas he's actually got the money.
Well, he's got his own country. He's got his own sim country.
Imagine having your own country.
I've just gone to poundbury.co.uk.
What's it look like to you?
Wide.
Is it wide?
Yeah, and then there's a picture of like some locals and there's some butchers there. 3 butchers, diddly-dee. One's got lamb, one's got beef, one's got sausages.
It sounds like a nursery rhyme. What are you talking about? That's it. That's all. That's just the Poundbury website. It's just some butchers.
And some old women sat on benches. It was an urban extension of the Dorset county town of Dorchester, designed in accordance with the principles of architecture and urban planning as advocated by His Majesty King Charles III in his book A Vision of Britain.
Been to Dorchester. It's got a Wagamama's and a Waitrose.
Well, there's a business directory here. 100 giggles.
That's the title of my Edinburgh show. I remember me and Sunil were in Edinburgh. We saw the comedian on the poster. Promised the audience a laugh a minute, and I remember Sunil saying, "That's not that good a turnaround."
That's not enough laughs, man.
That's
1 minute.
That's 55 minutes, 55 laughs with 5 laughs to get the audience in and out.
Yeah. I think with King Charles's village, he's built it to his own ideals because he sees something to be lacking or wants to lead by example. Basically, I think what he's built is, it's probably a village where everyone's really nice during the day, but then at night, balaclava's on, battering visitors and stuff like that. I think everyone in there, everyone in there has been. Everyone in there has been cancelled on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? So it's a safe haven for the cancelled.
Come on, Chris.
Chris, come on.
Every now and again, they demand a sacrifice because King Charles understands the blood. But the blood.
I think it's not even slander; it's just treason.
That's the next logical step for this podcast. Treason. We do 100 episodes only, because I am hanged from Tower Bridge.
Look, there's nothing. I'm reading it now. Nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this.
As long as you're passing through.
The use of traditional materials and building form, something like that. It's just like, can you just make it nice rather than like, if you look at most like new developments in London, they've just built like huge towers with wind tunnels in the middle of them and a Pizza Express. Like, that's not great.
No, and those giant skyscrapers that like refract the sun and it sets fire, burns your phone.
Oh, it melted that car, didn't it?
Yeah, and all those birds just smashing into the glass.
Yeah, just as God created us, and we created giant steel mechs in the sky that killed millions of birds. So there go, ergo, this is the natural order of things. This is as God intended.
All right, business directory. That's boring. Actually, I shouldn't have gone on that.
Yeah, it wasn't as fun as I thought. Well, after 100 giggles, it really went downhill.
Action Coast business coaching.
I want to go there. I want to go to Poundbury. I want to go to Poundbury. I want to go to Port Merion in Wales. Just a bit like I'm a huge Prisoner fan, but just a place where I believe it's a level of like intellectual decadence that will never happen again. Do you know what I mean? If you look back to how people used to design towns and stuff like that back in the sort of Victorian times, things built with beauty. Part of the design, like the street lamps and stuff like this, they'd have an aesthetic quality to them.
Yeah.
The like a state produced bit of kit now won't do. It's produced for bare bones cost. It's produced in the most like brutalist. But brutalism is like there's a beauty to it, but it's just shit now. Shit bollards, shit lights and stuff like that. Everything falling a bit all the time. And so, like, I don't believe. I think the closest thing is like Milton Keynes would be a manufactured, sort of. But have you ever been to Milton Keynes? It's very surreal.
It is weird, but apparently it is really well designed because, like, they keep the road and the bikes and the walking all separate, and they're all very accessible. But it's weird because it's like tunnels and stuff.
I tell you what it is with Milton Keynes. When I went there, it was. Because it's all built at the same time, the buildings, basically a modern high street is punctuated with buildings from different eras, which is, like when you're reading a sentence and everything's in caps and it's actually harder to read because your eye scans past the letters. Whereas if you read a sentence normal, your eye picks out the letters much quicker subconsciously. That's how I felt in Milton Keynes. It didn't have like a cathedral, a church, like older buildings to like create a varied landscape. They were all buildings in the same era, so I felt like I was just turning around, like looping and looping and looping, trying to find something in the horizon to latch onto. But it was all basically the same little shop with boots in it. You know what I mean?
I think they did say when they built it, they wanted to be the England's first all caps city.
Yeah, so
there is a weird little old bit apparently in it there was an old town there, and there's this one bit that's really that's old and weird. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
But I tell you, there's lots of places like apparently there was a village that was requisitioned by the army one day in World War II that they never got back, like the Bletchley Park, or have I made that up?
There's one in Wiltshire. No, it's Dorset. You can only go on certain days when the army aren't sort of practicing there, but it's an old village, and it was they kicked everyone out because they wanted to practice D-Day stuff.
And then, but then it sort of became that was that, isn't it?
It's just empty. Yeah, I think the school's like a museum or something.
Have you ever been to like Glasgow as well?
Yeah, that's New York street scenes as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like it was a precursor to New York, wasn't it? Am I right in thinking it was that way around? From what I understand, I think it was the guy. Basically went to America and got more free reign, and that's why it's built in. But Glasgow to me is like a very exciting city to walk around, just because it's got that grid system that is very different over here. Because all of our stuff is just built around aeons of like little horse-drawn tracks into it, and you can't put a building up that obscures the priest view of the towers of St. Swithin's, like this sort of stuff. It's like weird bylaws. Do you know what I mean?
Your wife texted me asking for a Hoover recommendation.
Yeah, I know. And she sent me a screen grab of how many messages she had waiting off you. You literally sent her about 100.
I sent her 7 screenshots from the Witch app.
It was not mad, but did you tell her what Hoover to buy?
Well, I sent her the recommendations for cordless Hoovers on cordless vacuum cleaners, let's be specific, on Witch. But I said, look, take it from me. I've been there, done that. I'd stick with a Henry.
Yeah, but we've got this Henry. It's all sort of fucked and old. It's what we got it from my mother and father-in-law. And in our house, because there's so much like we're in a constant state of being in terms of DIY.
Yeah,
I routinely have brick dust to take up.
Well, none of them's going to handle brick dust.
Well, Henry does. Henry sucks up. Henry will take up brick dust, mortar, bits of dead bat. Do you know what I mean?
It's the vacuum cleaner that professional cleaners and builders use as well.
Yeah. It's like, I want one of them. I want one of those radio players that they get, that plasterers get that covered in paint. Do you know what I mean? Those like rubber ones.
That's not paint.
What is it?
Yes, it is paint.
There's like, I've seen them with radio players made by tool companies.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like real chunky, like it is a tool in itself, the radio player. It's I'm quite impressed with that, actually. Nice work.
How often do you listen to the radio, really? Apart from Radio 4, which has some great comedy on it.
Yes, I hear it does.
Mate, we listen to, the digital ones are good, like Hits Pride Radio, like basically gay tunes, absolutely banging. The family, that's a stale word to the family. Six Music, but I don't think that's not what it used to. Do you know what I mean? That used to be like...
That's literally that's what people said when it first started. This isn't as good as it used to be, Six Music.
Does that mean I'm getting older?
That means it's your station.
No one who listens to Six Music likes any of the DJs on Six Music.
I think I've aged elegantly into Radio 2.
Okay. What era of music is Radio 2 playing now?
It feels a bit new. It's like
probably
about 2010.
And now, a blast from the past. Cotton Eye Joe. Do you know what I mean? Like that. And you're
that is 30 years old now. Sorry, are Radio 2 playing Cotton Eye Joe? Is that on their playlist?
I don't know. But they're playing stuff that I just like, yes. But I like the DJ. I like Sarah Cox. Do you know what I mean?
I love Coxie.
That's why you listen. You listen for Coxie, yeah.
I love listening to radio presenters as someone who's in a performance space, just because I think there's somewhat... I mean, I'm trying to do it now, but we do struggle. There is a lot of editing involved. But just the ability to talk completely unscripted, to a plan, and some people do it. All of them can just talk constantly.
It's very hard.
Eye tests. What's your favourite letter? Text in.
I actually used to do Saturday morning radio for the Asian network with Ishan Akbar and Nimadedra. But Ishan was the host, really, and he really put in a shift having to
drag you to fucking lumps and me.
I'd zone out and suddenly I'd be on live radio and someone saying, "What do you think about that?" And I'd be like, I should be able to concentrate for 2 hours. But
were you the comedy sidekick?
Well, we were all comedy, aren't we? That's the thing. But we'd done a podcast together where we get on very well. So we did the podcast together, and then they asked us to do the radio show. But it's a different beast. It really is. Because you're live. You've got to keep it snappy, and you've got to keep it very relatable. Really,
can't say those things about the King.
No, if this was mainstream. BBC 1, BBC Radio 2, Saturday afternoon. Hello, this is the Chris Cantrell Show. The King. I love The King. Here are these two idiots that are in my studio, Sunil and James.
Were you the main host?
What are you? It's the Chris Cantrell radio show.
Let's let Chris see if he can do 1 minute on his own.
Welcome to BBC Radio 2. It's the Chris Cantrell show. It's 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Where are you driving to? Tell me where you're driving to. I want to know. I'm with my co-hosts. No, not co-hosts. Junior assistants, James and Sunil. They're busy. They're pressing buttons. I don't know what they're doing. Fucking hell, this is hard.
Yeah.
That's
and you
been
just
10
swore on live
seconds.
radio.
Has that been 10 seconds? That's not
15 seconds and you got fired.
I thought that was a minute. I was just about to get on to how much I loved The King rather than slagging The King off. Do you know what I mean? I'm a company man. I understand what's important.
These jobs require a cool head under pressure. All right? And that wasn't it. That wasn't a demonstration of it.
When I've got a friend who's, does technical stuff for theatre shows, so we're on the front of house, but they would be back of house, or not back of house, but like running the tech basically. So if you've got like lighting cues, sound cues, there's somebody working it. And my friend was basically saying that basically it's like a certain type of temperament to be good at that job, which is when something goes wrong, which is not what I have. When something goes wrong in a technical sense, you stop. You do not start touching things and panicking. You stay still and you methodically work through your checklist. And that, under pressure, when like the lights have gone down or the sound on a microphone's cut out and stuff like that, a very hard thing to do. Whereas me, totally at ease in the live environment, or treading the boards, totally master the dominion.
Yeah.
And that is the Chris Cantrell radio show.
Did you ever do any live performance when you were a kid?
I did like one school play where I got big laughs and was like, this is the most amazing, happy sort of feeling I've ever felt in my life. And then I just was like, so I just sort of knuckle down and work in an office for 12 years. Do you know what I mean? Like this sort of thing.
Yeah, we've been there.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like obviously being a kid is being a kid, and you have to figure stuff out, who you are and how you are. And I don't regret any of my life and when I did things really, because when I sort of done comedy, I wasn't very confident. I really struggled to speak to people. I was very anxious. I still am really, but it has given me a power to take up a bit more space and to talk like I talk and stuff like that and not shy away from it. But the only thing is, like with sort of my son, I do hope that maybe he's a very confident boy who seems very self-assured of what he wants to do. Well, no, he don't want to do anything. He just wants to watch YouTube. But he's very confident in that he just wants to watch YouTube. But basically, I hope to the bit in my life where I sort of just drifted into working in an office.
Oh yeah.
I do hope. I hope that he don't. Please don't do comedy, son. Please don't do comedy. But basically, if he wants to do something that feels mad on paper, whether it's like he wants to be in a band or something like that, that sounds mad. But it's like it's not. If we can break it down and you can work at it and we can figure out what bits to do. Basically, if I could get him to skip the bit where he's like, I guess I'll just work for Bradford and Bingley. They don't exist anymore. We don't have to bleep them.
James, you did a drama degree, so you must have done some acting as a kid, stage work.
Oh, yeah, I was Jesus on a donkey one time, riding through the town.
Straight in, you got the part of Jesus. That's your first part.
No, I think I worked my way up, from shepherd to angel to I was Joseph a couple of times. No, I did. Was in a play. What was it? Bugsy Malone, and I had a funny bit in Bugsy Malone, and really remember that buzz. That was a lot of fun.
What were you? Were you Knuckles?
No, I was
Tallulah, Fat Sam.
All right, the one that gets gunged, like the first one that gets gunged.
I can't remember.
No, I can't remember either. It was just good. I really made the part my own, unforgettable.
I fucking love. They would not make that film now, but I fucking love Bugsy Malone. little kids running around being gangsters. Because, like, it's like kids playing adult roles. It'd be very different, I think. You certainly wouldn't have Jodie Foster playing a femme fatale at 9 years old or whatever.
Right.
I think they'd skirt around that quite heavily. but it's a hell of a film. The music's great. Dexter Fletcher's in it. Pass
Oh,
is
yeah.
Babyface.
I didn't know that, yeah.
Pass is to Babyface. Pass, I'm Babyface. You know, like that. It's a hell of a film.
Maybe I was Babyface. Anyway, what about you, Sunil?
I my only school acting was where we did drama department production of Red Dwarf based on the scripts that I'd bought a book of.
Yeah.
And I played Holly, the deadpan robot from backstage.
Nice. Classic.
That's got, if they were written, I mean, they shouldn't do, let it not happen anymore. But if they were rebooting it, you'd have to reboot everything. You would be the perfect choice for.
Just a floating head, just being bored.
Babe, as long as they can update it, make it a bit modern, Holly Babes, it'd be dream job.
God, yeah, we used to love that. And I remember I had no interest in acting, but I bought lots of books of scripts of the only comedy I could find, which was Red Dwarf, and the entire Monty Python scripts I got as well. Didn't really get it. Didn't really find it that funny. Maybe 2 or 3 in it that I was like, that's really good. But yeah.
Yeah, I listened to a thing it come out, like Morecambe and Wise they didn't really approve of, or didn't really rate Monty Python.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I listened to a little clip of him. It's so interesting, and it's actually so similar to a lot of conversations we would hear today. You know, it's like Eric Morecambe going, "Yes, it's interesting, see, but you see, it wouldn't cut it in the clubs." I mean, like that. So it's just kind of a similar chat that you hear now from something a bit different.
Chris, there's a bit on this list here that I really want to hear about from you. You've joined a co-working space.
I've started going in, like, not all the time, but like I say, I'm in the minds of trying to pull this Radio 4 series together before we record it. So it's just a lot of stuff. And
what is a rural co-working space like?
It's not rural. It's me going into the big city.
Oh.
It's me driving into Carlisle, but basically I'm in my house going, not mad, but do you know what I mean? Just, you need a change of scenery, and you need the presence of being observed by people. Or maybe I do. Maybe normal people don't. But, you know, like being basically...
You've been institutionalised, haven't you?
No, I'm in my house. I'm wandering around. I'm doing all stuff that I need to do so that Nicola's not furious with me when she comes back. You know, like trying to pick up trousers and that are on the floor and stuff like this, and do all washing up. But like basically when there's a commitment to, I go into this co-working space. I've been a few times in Carlisle, and I pay 30 quid for the day to be there.
One day?
Yeah.
That's more expensive than here.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's just, it's a bit of a commitment. The only thing is I can't, like, that's a day pass. Yeah. If you sign up to, do you know, like you pay so much a month.
Yeah,
but I can't do that because, right, I think it's like for 200 quid a month, you can get like 8 days a month. So obviously, or something like that where it becomes...
That's way more expensive than anywhere down here. What's in there? It's free drinks, right?
Free drinks. It's very nicely done out. It's kind of not about... And I'm not awash with options for that.
Yeah.
But it's just... Basically, I don't go all the time, but it's like once every 2 weeks. It's like a commitment to be somewhere else, and to work in a city centre. And then this time I went and got an eye test and stuff like this.
While you were meant to be working, paying 30 quid.
Well, this is it. But also, how often am I in the big city? Specsavers have been tracking me down like a rabid dog for months, saying like, it's been ages since you've been.
You could have gone blind.
And I'm like, well, yeah, I can't see anything. So yeah, I'll come. So I went in. And went, there's no chance you do on the day ones, is there? And he went, yeah, I can see you at 11. I went, I'll come back at 11 then. So I had that done. So it was a bit of a double whammy. Yeah, the co-working space is just like, I don't know how to describe the people there. They are lovely, but it's a lot of people doing, like self-employed people. I don't know how to describe. I'm going there to focus. They're like, I don't know, they're very keen to have someone to chat to. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it more than that. But they're like, I think one guy's like advises people on, like solar energy type stuff or green energy that they can, like, So there's people doing lots of different stuff. There's somebody who does animation. There's a creative agency. There are all these people sort of knocking around. They're all super confident.
How do you find out what they're doing? Do they tell you, or is there a directory of them or something?
One guy I asked, but then basically if you pay for this monthly, if you're like a regular fixture, they put your name up on this wall.
Right. For networking.
In the stairwell, to advertise it. So I basically went on my dinner, I looked at a few of them and then just ran them through my phone just to sort of see what they're doing. So it was just interesting. But I'm there like, and when I'm in a public space like that, they're like, I don't know about you, but if it's like totally unprompted, they're not familiar with me from my YouTube reels. Do you know what I mean? This sort of thing. I'd just be like, what do you do? I'm like, a bit of this, bit of that. Do you know what I mean? Just keep it low key. What I'm not doing is saying, I'm actually a comedian. Would you like me to run some material out for you? I'm like, I'll tend to say I work in marketing. That's very true in a lot of ways.
Yeah, true. But how many drinks did he have in the day, and did it cover the 30 quid?
Honestly, there's a thing going on in there where everyone, when they make a cup of tea, makes one for everyone on the floor.
Oh, nah.
So honestly, I had 2 cups of tea and I should have done it. I was too nervous to make a cup of tea for everyone and go talk to everyone because I'm there because I'm very stressed. Well, not stressed, but I'm just under cosh at the minute and I've got a lot of work to do. And my head's not necessarily in a place to be like, hello, I'm Chris, I do a bit of this, a bit of that. So I'm just like, I'm just not.
You can't be paying 30 quid to go in for a day and spend half of that making tea for people.
Exactly. That's how I feel. And then, so I went out and had a Greg's for lunch and had a coffee there. And that was, and I let one person make me a cup of tea and then I got out and Greg's coffee, Sunil. Yes. It's a very good coffee.
Is it?
Is it?
Well, I tell you this, it's cheap.
Yeah.
You can't argue with a price point at Greg's. It's the only thing. It's a city centre. I understand that it's not, but we can feed a family. Our family are free. We can have a little pasty, and then he can have a donut. We can have a cup of tea each and stuff like this. It's like 5 quid. You just can't get that in a British town centre anymore.
No, that's good. Yeah.
James, do you have anything to say about Greg's?
I really like the little hot chicken bites.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's Carlisle. Carlisle, can I slag Carlisle off, James, or are you going to be
I think we probably need to wrap it up maybe with an email.
Okay, our first email on today, which is International Men's Day. And thankfully it comes from Mr. Realman.
Hello, Mr. Realman.
Hello, Mr. Realman.
Or Mr. Real Man. We don't know. It's one word. Real man. Realman? Okay.
Realman, that sounds about right.
Okay. Well, he says, Dear lads, love the podcast loads. It's definitely one of the best ones. The banter is like gold top milk. Thank you, Mr. Realman. I'm writing with regards to producer James. He's a good lad who sounds massive. I love everything he says.
This is good.
But in a recent episode, he pronounced greasy with a Z, and it was fucking horrible. Seriously, is he an American teenager or something? Gross. If he does it again, I'll stop listening. Kind regards, Dr. Mr. Realman. Chris, did you write this?
Chris, are you a real man?
All I'm saying is he's a doctor, so he's definitely
a real man.
A real man. So it's definitely... That's come from an external source. I would like to say thank you for taking the time to send her, for whoever wrote the letter.
Chris, was it you? Answer.
What a salient point they have hit upon.
Oh, by the way, in the Patreon Discord as well.
Don't talk to me about that. You don't need to know about that.
Is there a league table of internet speed rankings amongst listeners?
Yes.
And am I at the bottom of it?
Yes.
It's quite a detailed one. I could actually send you to the link separately to that.
But why am I... How can I possibly be at the bottom?
Because you've got the worst internet.
Because you got the worst internet, mate.
I can't improve that because it's the only street that doesn't have fibre on it in this area.
Well, yeah, but that's just what your internet speed test is. You have bad internet.
I've got no problem with it. I've never had a problem with it. What are you all doing with all these high speeds? Nothing.
Well, what are you doing with a bad speed?
A lot, loads.
Zoom calls.
Yeah. All right, fine.
It's just, this is what it is. It's embarrassing, isn't it, really? But there you go. You made the choice to live there, so...
I don't know why I said greasy. I say greasy. I think it rings a bell in my mind from something.
The thing is, if you keep saying it, Chris will stop listening to this podcast.
Ah. So you won't know how much I cut out of him.
Well, it's obviously not me, but I did notice when you said that the other week, and I did think it was a bad sort of sound.
Greasy.
So, but I remember I referenced that, didn't I, in the WhatsApp group, and your wife actually sort of backed me up on that one.
Yeah, she did. And who backed me up on Greasy? Your wife.
Did she?
What did she say?
It was, you mentioned it, I believe, in a Instagram post, and she said she was fully on my side.
You've got to stop taking personal beefs onto Instagram, Chris.
I know, that's all. I mean, I don't have a great social media, but basically, if someone said something that sort of upsets me personally, I will use Twitter to anonymously directly talk to them about it without talking to them directly. It's not a good strategy, but it's that. But anyway, so I guess that situation is you've been told, and we respond to feedback on this podcast.
What's so strange is that I know we've got other letters, but you've chosen to submit one of the ones you've just made up yourself as the letter for this episode.
Can I tell you the truth? Like I said, my head's up my arse at the minute. I have got so many emails about bins and rubbish. Like, I've been contacted on Instagram. Like my mum sent us an email. I just can't get my head around it properly yet. And basically, we're going to need to do a separate episode that is going through everyone's bins.
I'm going to keep saying Greasy.
Yeah, I know.
I think is it partridge or something? Too greasy.
No, I don't know. I've not heard. I mean, I've heard it, but not from partridge.
If anyone knows what I'm thinking of, do let me know.
Do let him know.
Yeah. This has been, I think, a great audition for us to do a radio show on the actual BBC. Now, Sally with the traffic.
Sally with the traffic. Sally! How you doing? Love? You all right?
She's not really there.
She's not there, no, but you can see how she could be there.
I almost believed you.
We could make the transition to broadcast radio, I believe. With a bit of editing.
Why would we bother when we've got full freedom to say what we want?
When we're making cash over hand on the independent podcast circuit, saying exactly what we want to say, and then James cuts it out.
Thank you for listening to Rural Concerns.
If you have a rural concern, then guess what? You can email us at christopher@alovelytime.co.uk.
And the best way to support Rural Concerns is through Patreon. For less than £5, you'll get regular bonus episodes, plus access to our online Discord server, The Creamery.
Head to patreon.com/Rural Concerns.
You could also leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yes, and by the way, it has to be 5 stars, even if it's 4 stars. Unfortunately, we can confirm that you will be seduced by an AI, which will trick you into sending pictures of yourself naked, which it will then immediately forward to Jeff at Amazon.com.
Probably best put 5 stars then.
Probably better too.
Rural Concerns is edited by Joseph Burrows. Our artwork is by Poppy Hillstead, and our music is by Sam O'Leary.
Rural Concerns is produced by Egg Mountain for Lovely Time Productions.
And as a reward for listening all the way to the end, here is a piece of sage advice that I'm finding right now by flicking through the concise 48 laws of power. Law number 36, disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. By acknowledging a petty problem, you give it existence and credibility. The more attention you pay an enemy, the stronger you make him. And a small mistake is often made worse and more visible when you try to fix it. It is sometimes best to leave things alone. If there is something you want but cannot have, show contempt for it. The less interest you reveal, the more superior you seem.
Yeah, I hate Apple Plus. She's silly.
The thing is, I don't want this to turn into a recycling podcast, but it is.
It's just so much. Honestly, it's made me feel slightly anxious.
I'm going to stop recording now before you say about fucking yogurt pots.
Okay. Bong. Like that.